What's going on? Welcome to the 5-Minute Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Colton Olson, and on this podcast, we spend about 5 minutes, I say about 5, give or take a couple sometimes, breaking down and teaching you to apply psychological concepts that world-class athletes, CEOs, coaches, and elite military units use to take their performance to the next level. The key word here is apply. I don't want you to come here and just get a bunch of information and not know how to use it. I want you to leave here every day feeling like you have something in your hands that you can use right away to improve your life. Let's get to it. Welcome back to 5-Minute Mindset on a very cold, very windy day here in Colorado. And on days like these, you don't really think about golf that much usually, but there is a little golf on TV. Got some PGA Tour golf rolling. Last week they had the Century in Maui at maybe one of the coolest courses in America, Kapalua. And this week they got the Sony Open in Honolulu. And I was watching this tournament on TV yesterday, and it was kind of a tough day. It was tough conditions. It was nice and warm but windy, and a lot of the guys were having a really hard time. The distances were off. They were making bad club decisions. People were kind of spraying balls everywhere, and you could see them getting frustrated. Some of the guys were starting to lose it a little bit. And in the middle of all this, the announcers are talking, they're mentioning how the conditions are hard, what you need to do on days like today. And one of the announcers goes, you could probably beat half the field today by just having the right mindset out there. And that quote kind of stopped me because, for one, it was real. I was watching it happen in real time. Like, even within the groups, there would be one guy that was out there, he was frustrated, his body language was bad, and you could tell he was just kind of mailing it in, trying to make it to the 18th hole. And there'd be another guy who was out there battling. You could tell he was talking with his caddy, working to adapt as quickly as possible, and kind of embracing the conditions and trying to use it to get ahead of people. So it was cool to watch in real time, but then also I was thinking about how real that is outside of sports or in amateur sports as well. I could think of a ton of times in my own life or with people I know where I showed up to work or to school or to practice, a meeting or whatever, and just decided for whatever reason it wasn't going to be a good day. Things weren't going my way. I didn't feel good when I woke up. I was tired. I was running late, and I just decided that things were going to be hard. The chips weren't going to fall my way today, and I wasn't going to perform my best. And that was exactly what happened in those moments usually. And when this happens, when you act like that, when you go out into these tough situations and you just decide it's not your day, not only do you set yourself back, but you leave the door open for a lot of people that can come in and pass you up, right? So it's a very real situation. It's a real problem we face. And there's some interesting research in psychology that shows us it's true. So they did a study a few years back now. I can't remember exactly when, but they found that 60% of competition, particularly one-on-one competition, 60% is lost before it even starts, right? So 60% of all matches are lost before they even start, which means one of the people is coming in deciding that for whatever reason they can't win today. They saw their opponent, they found it was going to be tough conditions, they think they're going to be in a hostile environment or whatever. Whatever the reasons are, they found an excuse to lose. They came in and decided it's not my day, I'm just going to get through this and I'm going to be done. It's over. 60% of the time it was figured out, it was solved before it even started. And this is something we have to battle with as humans, this wanting to shut it down during tough conditions. It sounds crazy, but there are actually times when we would rather take a knee and wear the loss than go out and take responsibility for our actions and for our performance and win. And I know that sounds crazy, right? But like I said, when we're facing tough conditions, it can be comforting to have excuses. We like excuses because when we have them, we can go, well, it was all of these things' fault. It was the weather, it was my coach, it was my opponent, it was the environment. All of those things made me lose, not me. Whereas if we don't buy into the excuses and we come in with a more hard-headed, mentally tough mentality, and we have to take responsibility for our performance, if we lose or fail, it's all on us. I didn't perform right, my effort wasn't right, my preparation wasn't right, and that stings a little bit more. So sometimes we find comfort in the loss. If it looks like things aren't going to go our way early, we can find comfort in making up excuses and just taking a loss. So that's something that happens to us. But there's also the other side of the coin. The people that showed up and made sure they were the ones that were going to win most of the time. So those people, they don't pay an ounce of attention to the excuses like who their opponent is, what the weather is, the environment they're playing in, their coaching or whatever else. They take total ownership and they go out and perform in spite of all those things. Like the golf example. There's tough conditions for everybody, but some guys decided they were going to lock in and get the most out of that and perform well in spite of the bad conditions. So they could go home and go, yeah, when everybody else mailed it in, I worked hard and I set myself up for success the rest of the weekend. So those are the more mentally tough people. They go out, they battle, they channel whatever they have on that day, adjust and perform. And that separates them. Probably puts them in front of at least half the people. So my challenge for you in all this is to move toward becoming someone that says, all right, I'm going to win before things even start. I'm going to lock in and battle in spite of the tough conditions. Even though sometimes it's easier to go out and say, hey, it's a tough day today, it's a wash, not going to be for me. Be the one that locks in and battles in spite of that. So here are 3 tactics to help you make that shift. Tactic 1, see challenges as opportunities, not barriers. Challenges are the best opportunity to test your skills and the best opportunity to get better at what you do. You need them to improve. So when you start embracing challenging circumstances and using them as propellers for your growth, you start separating yourself. So see challenges as opportunities. Tactic 2, act like a winner. I believe that most of the time you could go to a game or some sort of sporting event and you could walk in and figure out who was winning and who was losing without looking at the scoreboard and by just looking at the body language, the energy, and the emotion of the players out there. Right? When you look at the winners, they carry themselves differently. Body language is big, they're focused, they have high energy, maybe they're having more fun. The losers are kind of moping around, shoulders, head, whatever, feeling sorry for themselves. Act like a winner. On days where the circumstances are tough and you don't want to perform, acting this way, having the big body language and the focus, can actually trick your brain into being more confident and enhance your performance. So act like a winner. And tactic 3, learn to despise excuses. Excuses are giving yourself permission to give a poor effort and a poor performance. Don't buy into that. Living excuse-free is hard, but it's the key to raising your level of performance and performing at a high level consistently. So, eliminate excuses. Don't tolerate them. Choose to win ahead of time. Just showing up with the right mentality is probably enough to separate you from at least half the field, to beat half the people out there. So that's all we got for today. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, leave a review, and I'll see you back here next time on 5 Minute Mindset.